If therefore we forget, you see, that black and white are inseparable, and that existence is constituted equivalently by being and non-being, then we get scared. And we have to play a game called, uh-oh, black might win. And once we get into the fear that black, the negative side, might win, we are compelled to play the game, but white must win. And from that start all our troubles.
All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Alan Watts Discussions. Today, it is going to be discussion number 4. It's going to be this part of the series that I'm doing. I've been discussing Alan Watts lectures live on Twitch, and today it's going to be Coincidence of Opposites is what the title is. We did Not What Should Be and also Sense of Nonsense last week. That was a pretty good one. If you haven't watched Sense of Nonsense, that was last week. I'll link it up. It's going to be over like that direction, I guess. It'll be up on the top. You know what I mean? It'll be up on the top somewhere. So let's get started.
It's really a very unorthodox and unacademic thing to do, to start a discussion with a group of psychologists on the subject of metaphysics. But we have to do that. Because a lot of people say that their approach to life...
I'm sorry. Yeah, all right, cool. All right.
...is scientific, as distinct from metaphysical, and that metaphysics is bosh, anyway.
Okay, first of all, really quick, let's do this. Because I want to confirm what he is saying. So metaphysics, the branch of philosophy that deals with the first principles of things, including abstract concepts such as being, knowing, substance, cause, identity, time, and space. Okay, so philosophy. It is philosophy. It's just talking about it. It's just theory with no basis in reality, because you can't really say for sure that knowing or being a person is real. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, so metaphysics. Okay.
But everybody, by virtue of being a human being, is willy-nilly a metaphysician. That is to say,
yeah,
everybody
Everybody is a metaphysician. A metaphysician? Is that what he said?
But everybody, by virtue of being a human being, is willy-nilly a metaphysician.
Physician. Fuck yeah. Score me on that. All right. Everybody's metaphysician. So everybody tries to talk about being or knowing or things that like they don't really know anything about, but they think they know about. It's just the nature of like being a human.
That is to say, everybody starts from certain fundamental assumptions as to what is the good life, what he wants, what are his, shall we say, axioms for living. And I find that psychologists tend to be blind to these fundamental assumptions. Maybe it's truer of psychiatrists than it is of psychologists, but...
Okay, so you said psychologists... Wait, what did he say? Psychologists don't really see it? They don't really see it like that?
For living. And I find that psychologists tend to be blind to these fundamental assumptions.
Interesting. To let's see. assumptions. Okay.
Maybe it's truer of psychiatrists than it is of psychologists, but they tend to feel that they are scientists. They're rather bending over backwards to have a scientific status, because that, of course, is fashionable in our age. But you know, it's so amusing that when, say, let's take psychoanalysis, for example, as pointed out to many philosophers, that their philosophical ideas are capable of being shown to have a psychoanalytic reference. For example, John Wisdom wrote a book about the philosophy of Berkeley, in which he attributed a great deal of his point of view to his experiences in toilet training as a child.
Interesting.
The philosopher is very grateful to the psychoanalyst for revealing to him his unconscious and its emotional contents. But the psychoanalyst must in turn await a revelation from the philosopher as to his philosophical unconscious and the unexamined assumptions which lie in it. So, if I may start by insulting your intelligence with what is called the most elementary lesson, the thing that we should have learned before we learned 1, 2, 3 and ABC, but somehow was overlooked. Now, this lesson is quite simply this, that any experience that we have through our senses, whether of sound or of light or of touch, is a vibration. And a vibration has two aspects, one called on and the other called off. Vibration seems to be propagated in waves, and every wave system has crests and it has troughs. And so life is a system of now you see it, now you don't. And these two aspects always go together. For example, sound is not pure sound. It is a rapid alternation of sound and silence. And that's simply the way things are. Only you must remember that the crest and the trough of a wave are inseparable. Nobody ever saw crests without troughs or troughs without crests, just as you don't encounter in life people with fronts but no backs. Just as you don't encounter a coin that has heads but no tails.
Right. Interesting.
And although the heads and the tails, the fronts and the backs, the positives and the negatives are different, they're at the same time one. And one has to get used fundamentally to the notion that different things can be inseparable. That what is explicitly two.
Wow, hold on. I like that. I really like that.
At the same time.
Oh, shoot. Said different things can be inseparable. I like that. That's really crazy. You just look at it and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you don't know what's bad, then you don't know what's good, and then everything just is, and it's whatever you make it up in your mind as is. And it's, since you don't know what like good or bad is, like you can just like basically in theory just create, right? Like I don't know, that's like the idea behind it. But like, I mean, what he's saying is that like it's a blessing to like know these things, to be aware of. Like if you looked at like a heads and a tails, right, or like a good and a bad, I think the good and a bad is the best explanation of it. But like I do understand in the same concept, heads and tails, or like yin without yang, which is like, you know, same thing as good and bad, I think. But I think what good and bad, I mean, since you can actually know the difference in your head, you know what I mean, between good and bad, or because there are both things, you can only choose. I mean, it's like you have the option. I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling on that, but like, it's really like a blessing to like have awareness of that, I think is what really is, yeah.
Be implicitly one. If you forget that, very funny things happen. If therefore we forget, you see, that black and white are inseparable, and that existence is constituted equivalently by being and non-being, then we get scared. And we have to play a game called, black might win. And once we get into the fear that black, the negative
really
side,
is crazy,
might win, we are compelled to play the game, but white must win.
I think
and
that's,
from that
wow.
start all our troubles.
Well, wow. So I think what he just said is that's really crazy, because I think what he just said is what I said, but like, don't do that. I think he said don't do that. That's interesting. Which is like, wait, hold on, I don't know.
If therefore we forget, you see, that black and white are inseparable, and that existence is constituted equivalently by being and non-being, then we get scared. And we have to play a game called, black might win. And once we get into the fear that black, the negative side, might win, we are compelled to play the game, but white must win. And from that start all our troubles.
Okay. Fair enough. And So what he is saying is basically on more of a like on a time scale, or just of like things that are happening, not like your choices. Okay, hold on. Okay, I don't know why I haven't been writing this down. That's what I think that's what he's talking about. I think he's like, because like basically he's saying that like, although there might be quote unquote bad times in your life or along like the now, as long, you know what I mean, if you're traveling along this like time and you're actually here right now, and if like things are bad or happening, quote unquote bad things, that means that it's just like, it just is. But to be fair, there are also good things, and it's just this path that we're on. I think that's kind of what he's saying, and as long as you're just on the path, then you're doing it right.
See, the human awareness is a very odd mechanism. I don't think mechanism is quite the right word, but it'll do for the moment. That is to say, we have, as a species, specialized in a certain kind of awareness, which we call conscious attention. And by this, we have the faculty of examining the details of life very closely. We can restrict our gaze, and it corresponds somewhat to the peripheral field, the central field of vision in the eyes. We have central vision, we have peripheral vision.
Mm-hmm.
Central vision is that which we use for reading, for all sorts of close work, and it's like using a spotlight, whereas peripheral vision is more like using a floodlight. Now, civilization and civilized human beings for maybe 5,000 years, maybe much longer, have learned to specialize in concentrated attention. Even if a person's attention span is short, he is, as it were, wavering his spotlight over many fields. The price which we pay for specialization in conscious attention is ignorance of everything outside.
So he did say, and that he did. Okay, so I thought that's what he said. He did say conscious attention, but then he said concentrated attention. We specialize, or what we do is concentrated attention. That's what our eyes do, but not all of us are doing conscious attention. Okay, that makes sense. I think I'm gonna go back to 6. Sorry.
His attention span is short. He is, as it were, wavering his spotlight over many fields.
Mm-hmm.
The price which we pay for specialization in conscious attention is ignorance of everything outside its field. I would rather say ignorance than ignorance, because if you concentrate on a figure, you tend to ignore the background. You tend, therefore, to see the world in a disintegrated aspect. You take separate things and events seriously, imagining that these really do exist, when actually they have the same kind of existence as an individual's interpretation of a Rorschach plot.
Of a what?
They're what you make out of it.
A Rorschach.
In fact, our physical world is a system of inseparable differences. Everything exists with everything else.
We all coexist.
But we contrive not to notice that.
We're all
Because
one.
what we notice is what is noteworthy.
That's fair.
And we notice it in terms of notations. Numbers, words,
Oh my
images.
God. Guys, I see so many numbers. I don't know about you guys, but I legit all the time see so many like angelic numbers, I guess is like a term for it, but like super like weird just numbers like let me see if I can find it like really quick on my phone. I have this like one of just really recently, like I was like, whoa, this is like so weird. Just like, I don't know. I see like 333s, 444s, 555s, you know, all the triple numbers and stuff. And then I see doubles in weird patterns and stuff like that. But like, I don't think it's in here. I don't think I can find it that quick. Holy crap. Oh, no, nope. All right. If I find it in the next quick second, I'll show it. But
What is notable, noteworthy, notated, noticed, is what appears to us to be significant, and the rest is ignored as insignificant.
And people would argue that like seeing those things like don't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like seeing 333s or 444s or like, you know what I mean? People do argue that like, yeah, you're just like looking into it too much. But like honestly, like I don't know what it means, but like when you see that shit, like I don't know. Like you do with whatever you want to do with it, but like, you know what I mean?
As a result of that, we select from the total input that goes to our senses only a very small fraction.
And it's crazy because like we talk about just vibes, right? Like literal vibes, and that's like what like the term is derivative of. Like vibes is like term of like vibrations, and like literally he was talking about it like everything. It's like literally right here, the elementary lesson. Every experience or any experience we have is a vibration. So like literal, like when people are talking like, oh, it's a vibe. Yeah, it's a fucking vibe. Duh. It's a vibe. I don't know what type of vibe. You know what I mean? Maybe they're into some type of vibe. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe you're into doing whatever type of vibe. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, my vibe is chilling right here on twitch.tv, kicking it with you guys right now. You know what I mean? Smoking some, what was I smoking on? Banana breath. Smoking on some banana breath. That's the vibe. If you're not on the vibe, you should get on the vibe. Link down below.
And this causes us to believe that we are separate beings, isolated.
Yeah, banana.
The boundary of the epidermis from the rest of the world. You see, this is also the mechanism involved in not noticing that black and white go together. Not noticing that every inside has an outside. And that the inside, what's inside, goes on inside your skin is inseparable from what goes on outside your skin.
And it's the same quote as above, so below.
You see that
goes on in your head is like what you produce as well. You manifest everything.
learns that a human being is not an organism in an environment, but is an organism-environment. That is to say, a unified field of behavior. If you describe carefully the behavior of any organism, you cannot do so without at the same time describing the behavior of
Hey.
And by that you know that you've got a new entity of study.
That seems like a vibe.
You are describing the behavior of a unified field. But you must be very careful indeed not to fall into old Newtonian assumptions about the billiard ball nature of the universe. The organism is not the puppet of the environment, being pushed around by it. Nor, on the other hand, is the environment the puppet of the organism, being pushed around by the organism.
Correct. So, and this goes back into, dude, gotta be careful with those hangovers. Gotta. So this is what I was talking about. I think I've talked about it in a lot of my videos and past the Alan Watts videos. I feel like it always gets brought up, but it's Purusha and Prakriti, the Sanskrit words that I learned in yoga, and it's just things having life force. Whether it's whether like the desk actually has Purusha, it still has like the universe in it, but it's not like the oneness of the universe, which is like Prakriti or something like that. I forget the actual terms of those. Let's just go. Let's go in another study hall, study fest. All right. Purusha, whose meaning evolved in Vedic and okay. Yeah, okay, so it's consciousness itself. Okay, well, there we go. Oh, jeez. Well, I just want to know what Prakriti is now. Okay. Prakriti, original and natural form of condition of anything. Original of primary substance is key concept. The basis, whose equilibrium is the basis of all observed. Prakriti in this school consists of contrast with Purusha, which is pure awareness and metaphysical consciousness. The terms also found in... Okay, so what is Prakriti? I'm so confused. Prakriti means the original or natural form or condition of anything. Prakriti, or primary substance. It is a key concept in Hinduism. It refers to the primal matter with three different innate qualities. I'm getting confused about this. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I feel people's auras too. Like, and the thing is like, you don't feel it all the time. Like I feel like, so one of the craziest things, and I think, I think you can feel people's, I mean, maybe not everybody can feel like people's energies and stuff like that. But, I think if you're like kind of aware, if you're aware enough of like, you're, actually aware, I think you can and like pick up on things, and you know what I mean? You just kind of notice like, whatever. I don't know. You just notice things and you're very much aware of what's going on. You can just pick up on those things. Maybe not everybody and maybe not every time, you know what I mean? But there are those moments where you're like, whoa, that's weird. I already knew that. Like super weird. You know what I mean? Like you're like, whoa, yeah. Or like you like are reading a room, yeah. Reading a room. Wait, like what do you mean? Like like you're talking about like reading like how like the vibe of a room feels? Cause I know that too. You walk in somewhere, you're like, whoa, I should not be here. It's like this isn't where I park my car. Yeah, Purusha and Prakriti. I forgot which one. I forgot Prakriti. I explained it better in one of my videos, but everything does have energy, even like a desk or and that's why, like, as weird as it sounds, I think that's why people like attribute that to like ghosts and stuff like that, and like things like taking possession, like energies, like like maybe this mic just feels like, whoa, like it feels like somebody actually used this mic. or whoa, it feels like this mic was, I don't know, taken care of. Yeah, because it was in the box. I didn't use it that much. I kept it in the box. You see the dust on the box still. Oh, Flag walked into a shop and I walked right back. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, it happens. I feel like that happens a lot. You just know. Just know. Right.
The relationship between them is, to use John Dewey's word, transactional. A transaction being a situation like buying and selling, in which there is no buying unless somebody sells, and no selling unless somebody buys. So that fundamental relationship between ourselves and the world.
You know what's really crazy about this too is like, just really quick side subject, but like this is what they would describe like why like fucking stocks have life. Crazy.
Which is in an old-fashioned way by people such as Skinner, who have not updated his philosophy, interpreted in terms of Newtonian mechanics. He interprets the organism as something determined by the total environment. And he doesn't see that in a more modern way of talking about it, we're simply describing a unified field of behavior, which is nothing more than what any mystic ever said. That's a dirty word in the modern academic scientific environment. But if a mystic is one who is sensibly or even sensuously aware of his inseparability as an individual from the total existing universe, he is simply a person who has become sensible, aware through his senses of the way ecologists see the world. So when I'm in academic circles, I don't talk about mystical experience. I talk about ecological awareness. Same thing.
Ecological awareness?
So the next...
I think that what he's talking about is just like, I think he's just like, yeah, just having the feelness of like, you know what I mean? Just like, I don't know. I think that's what he would call it, is like, I don't know. It's kind of weird what he's saying. I think what he means is just like still that same thing. It's like that feeling, but not awareness.
Aspect
Weird.
Of our metaphysical introduction must be about games. Do you know, I think there are really 4 questions that all philosophers have discussed from the beginning of recorded time. First is, who started it? The second is, are we going to make it? The third is, where are we going to put it? And the fourth is, who's going to clean up? When you think these over, it poses a 5th question. Is it serious? And that's the one I want to discuss. Is existence serious? Like you say, doctor, after he's looked at your X-ray picture, is it serious? What does that mean? Means, am I in danger of not continuing to survive? The question is, ought I to continue to survive? In other words, must I survive? If life is serious, then of course I must survive. If it is not serious, it really doesn't matter whether I do or I don't.
Interesting.
Now,
so I mean, and you would say like basically what he's talking about is just like live life like a game in a way. Weird concept. Definitely, like, you can't really say that. You know what I mean? It's not what he said. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's not what I said either. But that's kind of like, I don't know. It's interesting.
in Western culture, it is practically a basic assumption that existence is serious. This is particularly true among people who call themselves existentialists. When they talk about a person who exists authentically, they mean that he takes his life seriously and other people's lives seriously. But the poet and essayist G.K. Chesterton once observed that the angels fly because they take themselves lightly. And if I may venture into mythology, if the angels take themselves lightly, how much more so the Lord of the angels? But you see, we have been brought up in a mythological context where the Lord God definitely does take himself seriously and is indeed the serious person. So that when we go into church, laughter is discouraged in the same way as it's discouraged in court.
And so well, I think this is a little outdated, a little bit outdated. I don't know, like I haven't been to church. I don't know how many years. I don't know. I don't go to church, but I think nowadays it's more still. It's still kind of like, I think it's modernized. I think it's kind of cool. You know what I mean? I think like church is probably cool unless you're still going to, like, no offense, the Catholic Church I think is like more serious, very serious. But like the more Christianity, Western culture, I think is a little bit less serious, but also still very serious, very, very serious on this big scale-ness. You know what I mean? I don't know, but yeah, that's.
I didn't get that.
Shut up,
Could you
Siri.
try again?
No, I don't want to try again.
This is a serious matter, and everybody has to have the right expression on their faces. Because this is the great, great authority figure. This is Grandpa. This is all you kids, you know. And we
Right.
don't realize that he has a twinkle in his eye.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, see, I believe that. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I knew it. That's really crazy that he's talking about that. He's talking about like when you're a kid and like viewing like older people, your grandpa specifically, because like that's like, you know, I guess an older man that's like kind of still fun with you, but he is a very serious person because he's like older. He's like very serious and he has a deep voice, and you know what I mean. But then he always has that like fun, like haha, like you're like, oh wow, that's fun.
But the basis of it all is this, then. If we say, you must survive, or I must survive, life is earnest, and I've got to go on, then your life is a drag and not a game.
Oh, so you did say it was a game.
Now, it's my contention, my personal opinion, this is my basic metaphysical axiom, shall we put it that way, that existence, the physical universe, is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. That is to say, it doesn't have some destination that it ought to arrive at.
Right. There's no end, hopefully.
But it is best understood by analogy with music.
Maybe, though. Maybe. Who knows?
Because music, as an art form, is essentially playful. We say you play the piano. You don't work the piano. Why? Music differs from, say, travel. When you travel, you are trying to get somewhere. And of course, we, because being a very compulsive and purposive culture, are busy getting everywhere faster and faster and faster till we eliminate the distance between places.
So crazy. So crazy. He's already like, he's way ahead. Like he's already just predicting like this is a talk like from like I don't know when, but like 1960s, I think 1970s, we'll say. And like he's already saying that it's getting too fast in the 1960s, 1970s. You know what I mean? Like we're in 2021, and basically what's really crazy is like I'm live right now on Twitch.tv. You know what I mean? Broadcasting with millions other people broadcasting. I don't know maybe about millions right now live, but at least 100,000 other people live right now. No, yeah, and then millions of people live watching for sure. Facts. We're eliminating distance right there. You know what I mean? Live. Boom, boom, boom. Crazy. Also really dope though. Also very dope.
I mean, with the modern jet travel, you can arrive almost instantaneously. What happens as a result of that is that the two ends
Emails.
of your journey become the same place.
Getting sucked into
so
Twitch.tv.
And you eliminate the journey. Because the fun of the journey is to travel, not to obliterate travel.
That is facts, though. That is facts. So, like, you know what's really crazy about that is, like, too, is, like, I can get sucked into, I mean, as much as I want to, like, get traveling and stuff like that, but, like, you know what I mean? You, if you had never seen, like, other places, but you knew about them, you'd definitely be more interested. Like, I don't know, like, just think about the least interested place that you're going to, because, like, I don't know, maybe not, like, not because of, like, yeah, information, distance, and time, yeah. Which is, like, also really dope, like I said. I think that it's really dope that, like, you know, we can send messages, like, that fast, but it's easy to get just sucked into just basically because, like, with, and this goes into talking about, like, have you ever lost yourself in a game or a show or your phone or fucking TikTok, you know what I mean? Whatever, Twitch, too much of something, just being sucked in where you just lose track of time. Like, you're like, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, dude, like, what have I done for the past 6 hours? What have I don't know. I've been told, I haven't actually got it, but I've been told on TikTok, like, after an hour, they're like, hey, bro, like, you've been swiping a lot. Like, that's kind of funny. That's super funny. I kind of want to attempt to get that just because I've never seen it, but yeah, I mean, like, have you ever been sucked into those, like, and, like, you lose time, you know what I mean? You've just been sucked in, and, like, you're not present anymore. You're basically just, I don't know, you're not existing, but you are not existing in this. If you're talking about this concept that we're talking about right now, you're basically not existing. You're just sucked in. Like, time doesn't exist, and you're like chilling. You know what I mean? Crazy.
So then, in music, though,
yeah, man, yeah, I've never been sucked in for an hour, but I've been sucked in. I'm like, whoa. I set timers on my phone this month. Part of my May goals. Link up in the description right now, or link in the description, link up in the corner right now. For my May goals that I set. Yeah, that was so I'm timed out, like, after like 30 minutes. 30 minutes on, like, 2 of my apps, and an hour total on 2 of my apps. So, yeah, music
one
though.
Doesn't make the end of a composition the point of the composition. If that was so, the best conductors would be those who played fastest, and there would be composers who wrote only finales. People go to a concert just to hear one crashing chord, because that's the end. Same way in dancing. You don't aim at a particular spot in the room. That's where you should arrive. The whole point of the dancing is the dance.
Yeah, same point in life. You just live,
now,
you do
we
it,
don't see that
and you just play through life.
By our education,
you know what I mean? Just have fun. Just have a good time.
We've got a system of schooling which gives a completely different impression.
Work.
It's all graded. And what we do is we put the child into the corridor of this grade system with a kind of, come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. And yeah, you go to kindergarten, you know, and that's a great thing, because when you finish that, you'll get into first grade.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And then, come on, first grade leads to second grade. And
so crazy. So freaking crazy. Like, I legitimately think that, like, kids can be so aware at such a young age. Like, legit. Like, I think that, like legit, a 7-year-old kid can be so freaking aware. We all see, like, we've all heard of, like, or when we were younger, what was that show of the kid that was, like, a genius, right? And he was, like, in high school. I don't know. It was like, that was like a pretty old show. I don't know if you guys know about it or if anybody remembers it, but he was like a little kid. He was probably like 10 or 12, but he was in like college or something like crazy like that. Anyway, my point is I think all these kids, they could be aware, but a lot of the time it is surrounded of like who has raised you. You know what I mean? Who, if your parents, and it's not a problem, it's not like you can change it. So I mean, the best thing you could do now is to become more aware. I think that's like what we should all be focusing on, is becoming more aware of what we're doing. But that being said, it's not like they're their problem or anything, but if they weren't, let's say, 9,000 level aware at fucking whenever they had you, which hypothetically, if they had you at like, 16, you know what I mean? Like a 16-year-old doesn't know that much, you know what I mean? Maybe they could, but like they also don't. But like at a 7-year-old, if you're like starting to like learn, you're so hyper, like, oh man, you can be so achievable. You could do so much, but like you don't need to do like school. You know what I mean? Focus on what you want to do and just start building. You know what I mean? Just start creating. I mean, or don't. You don't have to either, because like our society definitely does need people that work. I don't know what's right. Fuck. That's a weird thought. I guess maybe not everybody's creative, but wow, I don't know. I'm rambling. Let's listen to more.
Grade school, you've got high school, and it's revving up. The thing is coming. Then you're going to go to college, and by Jove, then you get into graduate school. And when you're through with graduate school, you go out to join the world. And then you get into some racket where you're selling insurance. And they've got that quota to make. And you're going to make that. And all the time, the thing is coming. It's coming. That great thing, the success you're working for. Then when you wake up one day about 40 years old, you say, my God, I've arrived. I'm there. And you don't feel very different from what you always felt. And there's a slight letdown because you feel there's a hoax. And there was a hoax. A dreadful hoax.
Right.
It made you miss everything.
Right.
By expectation. Look at the people.
That's pretty crazy.
Who
Okay.
live to retire and put those savings away. And then when they're 65, they don't have any energy left. They're more or less impotent. And they go and rot in an old people's senior citizens community.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. That's super rough. I mean, if you're just working to work, you know what I mean, just to survive and retire one day, I guess. I mean, that is rough. That's what he's talking about, and that's pretty crazy. Just do whatever makes you happy. Pretty crazy. Like, as weird as it sounds, like, I enjoy streaming. Like, it's not weird, I guess, but like, you know what I mean? I enjoy streaming for whatever, you know what I mean? And it's just a dope feeling to do with whatever you want and to create. I feel like I'm rambling on again about creating, but like, I think that like everybody wants to just create. I think that's the most basic, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, procreate is a basic need, but like, really, I think it's just create. Like, people don't need to always procreate. It's just that feeling to create. What are you trying to express? Because maybe we're not always like all good at like expressing with words, and words aren't always good to express with. So they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So
because we've simply cheated ourselves the whole way down the line. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, with a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that end, success or whatever it is, or maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance.
Right, right, and yeah, that's what it comes down to, is creating is so. It's so broad. You can create so much. So like, I just think being happy is focusing on stuff like that, is like focusing on creating like oh man, so I talked to my mom the other day, and she like starts gardens. I don't garden at all, but she starts gardens and stuff. And like what's crazy is like she's not like a painter, she's not like, you know what I mean, but she's finding her creativity, or her, you know, she's finding that creative part of her in creating flowers. You know what I mean? There's a creative aspect to that, just like there's a creative aspect to streaming, or to you know, obviously all content creating, but art, music, dancing, you know what I mean, just living. There's a creative aspect to living. So like if there's a creative aspect to living, like being creative, I don't know, you just have to be creative.
All the music was being played. But you had to
be happy, though, for sure. You have to be happy.
You didn't let it happen. And so, in this way, the human being sometimes becomes an organism for self-frustration.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Let's take Korzybski called man a time binder. That means that he's the animal peculiarly aware of the time sequence. And as a result of this, is able to do some very remarkable things. He can predict. He studies what's happened in the past, and he says the chances are so-and-so of that happening again. So he predicts. Well, this is very useful to be able to predict, because that has survival value.
Yeah. Fair enough, right?
But at the same time, it creates anxiety.
Oh, man. Absolutely. And absolutely. So what the craziest thing about it is like, dude, there's so many people in the world. There's so many people in the freaking world. And what, like, as much as, like, you know what I mean? Like, so what's so cool about that is, like, the way I see it is, like, if you find 1,000 people, right? 1,000 people, basically, to, like, and as weird as this sounds, like, I'm not, like, trying to, like, farm subs, or, I mean, obviously I'm not even affiliate or anything, but like, if you found 1,000 people to support you in whatever way, like, basically what my theory is, it's like 1,000 people, like, to support you by $5, right? Which is like the theory of like Patreon, or like obviously with Twitch, like, but like 1,000 people really isn't that many people out of the billions of people in the world. You know what I mean? To kind of have the same views of you, or want to support you in some way or form, dude. Everyone's creative, and like if you start just doing what you love, it'll show, and you'll attract the people that are meant to be around you. You know what I mean? And even if people don't like what maybe you're doing per se, like maybe not, like they don't see the value in it, they see the value in you, and that's really cool too. I think I respect either way. You know what I mean? Because, like, I don't know, like, let's just say that, like, you didn't, like, value somebody smoking weed. Like, I really see that, like, as such, like a negative thing in, like, in my parents' generation is changing a little bit, but the generation above them, for sure, the pot, they're like, I don't smoke the pot, you know? But if, like, you know, let's say I was about to make millions of dollars on pot, right? They would be like, oh, all right, well, maybe I don't see the value in, like, pot, but, like, I see the value in Ryan, so I support him. That's cool. Either way. Supporting people for what they're doing and who they are.
You pay for this increased survival ability involved in prediction by knowing that in the end you won't succeed. You're all going to fall apart by one way or another. It might happen tomorrow, it might happen 50 years from now, but it all comes apart in the end. And people get worried about that. They get anxious.
Yeah.
So what they gained on the roundabout, they lost on the swings.
If there's no end, if you don't have, like, if you're not worried about, like, the end of life, you know what I mean? Like, and that's not in, like, a, like, you know, a downing way. But if you're not worried about, like, you know what I mean? YOLO. As weird as it sounds, it's YOLO. You know what I mean? Fuck it. I'm not worried. Like, I'm here to fucking do what I'm doing. Having fun, streaming, chilling right now. Not worried about what's going on tomorrow. Yeah. I would take loyal friends, because if you had 3,000, it would support you with money. It would be $2. It would be like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's a really, really huge number. But, like, I mean, I'm just talking about, like, $1,000 or 1,000 people to give you $5 a month. The Patreon theory, right? 1,000 people, they making, if you do $5,000 a month to do whatever you want. Like, I support streamers all the time. Like, I try to drop subs whenever whenever I feel like I really like their stream or something like that. You know what I mean? Try to drop subs. Like, I try to support them. You know, same thing. I mean, like, if like I really like somebody's content, like I try to support as much as I can. You know what I mean? It's not always, but like I don't know. Oh shit, that reminds me. I have to do my freaking notes tonight. I have to do my food intake. We'll see on my food budget, which is part of my May goals as well, that I spend a lot of money on fucking food. And so, like, when I like look at that shit and I'm like, oh damn, I spent that much money on food, but I watch this free content on like twitch.tv, you know what I mean? It's like relatively free. I mean, basic, you know, Cox internet and fucking whatever, you know what I mean? But it's like they're providing free content. And so, like, I try to throw money at them, you know what I mean? Like $5, like, hey, like, that's like less than a meal I spend, you know what I mean? If you have people to support you, there's no way you can't go nowhere. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it all relies on support. Like, support in a lot of different ways, though, too. That just comes down to, like, you know, maybe people can't provide. Like, you know what's really dope? The same concept is, like, I do try to be in people's streams, too. Maybe I'm not, like, you know, very active on, like, the keyboard, but I do try to be a little bit, getting chat a little bit as well. But it's like, dude, just being in chat and showing support that way, that's an emotional support. Like, you know what I mean? It's a physical support too, I guess, or whatever, but you're not monetarily supporting, which is whatever, you know what I mean? It's fine. But, like, it's what you're showing, the support that matters, you know what I mean? Like, all support matters. So what it comes down to is, like, do you like what they're doing? Are you showing the support? Yeah. But yeah. As long as you and you'd be surprised with how many people support you. I think you'd be more surprised than you. Yeah, I think you'd be surprised. Let's just put it that way.
So then, if you see, on the other hand, that existence, this is, as I said, my basic metaphysical assumption, which I won't conceal from you, that existence is musical in nature. That is to say that it is not serious. It is the play of all kinds of patterns. We can look upon different creatures as we look at different games, as we look at chess, checkers, backgammon, tennis. There's the tree game, the beetle game, the grass game. Or you can look at them as you look at different styles of music, mazurkas, waltzes, sonata, etc., all down the line. There are all these different things doing their stuff. And they're going to do, you know, in different rhythms. And we're doing that. If you were in a flying saucer from Mars or somewhere, and you came and looked to try and make out what was living on this world, from about 10,000 feet at night, or early morning, you would see these great ganglia with tentacles going out all over the place. And early in the morning, you see little blobs of luminous particles going into the middle of them. See? And then in the late afternoon or early evening, it would spit them all out again. And they say, well, this thing breathes. And it does it in a special rhythm. It goes in and out, in and out, in and out once every 24 hours.
Well, and then also
but
you
then
would
it
see...
rests a day and doesn't spit so much. It spits in a different way. That's a kind of irregularity. And then it starts spitting all over again the same way. Well, I say that's very interesting. That's the kind of thing we have. See? This is something that goes this way. Now, existence, you see, is something that is spontaneous. The Chinese word for nature, zhiran, means that which happens of itself. Your hair grows by itself. Your heart beats by itself. You breathe pretty much by itself. Your glands secrete their essences by themselves. You don't have voluntary control over these things. So we say it happens spontaneously. So when you go to sleep and you try to go to sleep, you interfere with the spontaneous process of going to sleep. Try to breathe, real hard, and you find you get balled up in your breathing. So if you're going to be human, you just have to trust yourself to have bowel movements and go to sleep and digest your food. Of course, if something goes seriously wrong and you need a surgeon, that's another matter. But by and large, the healthy human being doesn't, right from the start of life, need surgical interference. And he lets it happen by itself.
Right.
So with the whole picture, that is fundamental to it. You've got to let go and let it happen. Because if you don't, you're going to be all clutched up.
And you're interfering with it.
You're going to be constantly trying to do what can happen healthily only if you don't try.
Yeah.
And when people, when you think a bit what people really want to do with their time, what do they do when they're not being pushed around and somebody's telling them what to do? They like to go. They like to make rhythms. They listen to music. They dance.
We like to make vibes.
Or they do
create vibes.
Of a rhythmic nature.
You know what I mean?
Playing cards or
whatever vibes.
Raising their elbows. Everybody wants to spend their time swinging.
We want to have fun.
And that's the nature of this whole thing we're in. You see, it likes to swing. That's why it does it.
Yeah, we all want to. I mean, so that was the end. That's being acceptance. Having acceptance of change is so important. Like literally, like being okay that things just change. Like always, like just having that awareness that things are changing and like it's not what it was. It is what it is now, and not what it could be in the future. Because if you're worried about the future, that's just as bad as like being wrapped up in the past. You know what I mean? Just focus on what you're doing right now. Everything is happening right now. Everything. You can do whatever you want right now. Like, so what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not doing what you want to do, like, I don't know. You gotta just do it now. Oh, okay. Let's wrap it up. Let's do a little brief synopsis. All right. A little brief synopsis. Synopsis. Everybody is a metaphysician. Let's see. Yeah, man. It's really definitely takes focus. It takes focus. If you're not focused on what's going on right now, you get wrapped up. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not like anything like I'm not there yet. I definitely focus on the past and the present and the future, all of the above. But whenever I notice like myself trying to, get wrapped up in the present or the past or the future, I just try to focus, be like, whoa, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? And I just tell myself like, hey, what are you doing? Like, that's not even happening right now. Like, what are you doing right now? What's actually happening right now? Oh, I'm doing this. Okay. Focus on what you're doing right now then. So, everybody's a metaphysician. Everybody, has like these thoughts that go through their head about awareness and knowing and being and, all these different things, and we all have this thought process that's in our heads. Since the psychologists and psychiatrists are blind to the fundamental assumptions, are they scientists? What was he saying? He was saying, okay, so Oh, because they're trying to prove things that like technically don't exist, like awareness and like stuff like that, like knowing, like how do you actually know, like, you know what I mean? They're like, are they scientists? Can you prove like that person's aware, or that like these like, yeah, but then are they blind to the fundamental assumptions? I don't know. Maybe. Elementary lesson. Oh, just like that's what like one of my probably my favorite. This is my favorite on there. Any experience we have through our senses, is a vibration. Vibrations are either on or off, and can't have it front with the back. So just about vibes. Vibes just. The vibrations, we all see them, we all feel them, we all have them. They're all there. You just have to be aware and be present again, and just know that, like, know about the vibes, know about the vibrations that are going around. Different things can be inseparable. Yeah, they can be. Yeah. Okay. I was like, did I write that right? So like, you know what I mean? If you have black and white, they can be just like, they have to be one. You know what I mean? They don't, or, well, see. Different things have to go together. Like, you can't have a black without a white, or a top without a down. As above, so below. That's basically what it goes down through. Humans specialize in conscious attention, which is knowing the vibes, creating the vibes, and the whole feeling of everything, focused on what you're doing. We have that. We specialize in it. But the concentrated attention, I put that there because I didn't know what he was talking about. But it's basically what yin and yang, balance. Everything has balance, is balanced. It goes up and down. Everything is just free flowing. I put that there because he was talking about the concentrated attention of your eyes and being focused. Like, we focus on, like, let's say this camera. Like, my eyes are focused on the camera right now, and you guys can see that. I'm only looking at the camera, and only the camera. I can see, like, basically right through the camera because I'm looking through the camera. Like, I have to be concentrated on this camera. But, like, what else was going around? Can I feel the vibes? Can I feel the vibes? I didn't even look at chat. Chat, what's up? I wasn't even paying attention. Couldn't feel the vibes. Concentrated attention versus conscious attention. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm still baked. 4 questions. Who started it? Are we going to make it up? Or are we going to make it? Where do we go to put it? And who's going to clean it up? Those are the 4 basic questions, I guess. And then this evolves into the 5th question, which is the most important question. Is it serious? Is anything serious? Am I serious? Sometimes. I guess this seems like a serious talk, but I fucking don't even, like, don't listen to me. This isn't fucking serious. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't really care. Like, I do care because it's, like, something I want to listen to. You know what I mean? I'm obviously doing it on fucking stream, but, like, I'm not taking it that serious. I'm going to decide for myself whatever the fuck I want to decide. You know what I mean? This is good information, I feel like. This is quality information that I'm going to take in, but it's not that fucking serious. It's not serious information. It's not fucking life-threatening information. But it could be. You might want to listen. You might want to join live next time. Every Thursday, maybe. Maybe. I'm going out of town next Thursday, so, I mean, but Western culture basically says it's always fucking serious. It's always, you got to find the next point in life that you need to get to and get there. That's where you're supposed to be, and that's where you got to be. Don't take it that serious. You don't have to be any certain spot at any certain place at any certain time, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have kids by 30, or, you know what I mean? You don't have to have a house, or you don't have to fucking own a boat ever. You don't ever have to be a streamer. You don't ever fucking, you know, but also, to be fair, at 75, if you want to stream, do it. You know what I mean? If you want to not own a house until 75, like, do it. You know what I mean? That's whatever you want to do. Like, just, it's not that serious. There's not a right or wrong way. It's just life. Yeah, it's just life, man. Just life. Like, let's just all like, and that's why like I'm creating the vibe that I want to have in my life, and I'll manifest whatever, like, you know, whoever, whatever, like all the stuff that, you know what I mean. That's what we do. Angels fly because they take themselves lightly. Oh yeah, and then basically what he was saying after that is like who's higher than angels? Well, then he obviously, or that person or that being, or obviously doesn't have to fucking, or doesn't give a shit, doesn't give fucking two shits. Maybe no shits. I don't know how many shits. Semi non shits. We'll say sub one shit. Sub zero shits. Sub zero? No, that's not the right word. Predicting creates anxiety. Planning things in the future, it creates anxiety. I talked about it in the last one too. The difference between anxiety and depression, and those are the two main problems that everybody has, obviously, because everybody fucking does these things, you know what I mean? If you have anxiety, it's because you're fucking thinking about what's going on in the fucking future. It's not even fucking here. I know it sounds hard. I know it sounds simple. I'm making it sound simple. Just gotta do it. Depression. What causes depression? Thinking about the past. If you're stuck in the past, you're going to be depressed. Obviously, we all have these fucking problems. Every single person. It's not something that you can control. I mean, you can try to bring it in. The fucking most Zen Buddhist person, I don't know what the fuck they're called. They're supposed to be, you know, I feel like that's like the person that could control their emotions and shit like that. But we all have these problems, and we gotta be there to support everybody. You know what I mean? As many people as you want. But just also know, like, the same thing goes with karma and stuff. Like, the karma is just like that word of, like, I don't know what other words relate in other languages. Maybe that's you want to check that out real quick? Let's see. I'm curious now. Oh. Different words for karma. God's plan, destiny, karma. What was written. Yeah. Sure. Predetermination, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's not exactly what I was looking for. But my point being was, like, as much as you give out, things come back. It's just like, it's weird, as weird as it sounds, like, you don't have to give everything. But, like, when you start to give, you'll see that things just start, you just have just, like, more. You have more even though you're giving. Doesn't mean that, like, you're getting anything, like, maybe you're giving $5 to the fucking streamer, but you're not, like, gaining $10 back from them or $10 back from somebody else in the next day or whatever, but you'll just feel like you have more, and eventually you will just have more, like, more than, like, what that $5 was worth. Like, that $5 is meaningless, more or less, but then it's meaningful to that person. You made it meaningful by making it a gift. You know what I mean? Or the support is basically like giving a gift. You know what I mean? Too, the same concept. Like, when you give somebody support, emotional support or something, it's just like, just having that connection. Everything is playing a different game. Everything is playing a different game or a different dance. Like he was talking about the beetle dance or the chicken dance, you know. Yeah, everybody does a different dance. Everybody does a different game. We all just, like, flow through different. So, like, obviously, again, it goes back to, like, being like, yo, if you don't have a house at fucking 30, or if you don't have a kid by 50, like, yo, you're doing it wrong. Nah, you're doing the right game for you, the right dance. You did the right dance for you. I don't know, you did life. That's fucking dope. You did it 50 years. I did it 27 right now. That's dope. I had a good life so far. Great life. Had problems in my life. There was things that went fucking down. There were some problems. It's pretty crazy. Had a good life though, yo. Existence is spontaneous. We all fucking just exist, and that's what's dope about it, is that we don't have a choice really. Again, I don't know. You don't really have a choice. You just fucking exist. You just fucking breathe and sweat and whatever he was talking about. So that's what's really fucking sweet about it, is like you don't have to think about it. It just is. And so if you let things just be, I don't know, it works out. Trust, openness, all that good shit. Solid. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the latest Alan Watts. If you liked any part of the video, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate all the support I have on these videos. I really enjoy doing them. So if you liked it and you want to participate too, you can join me live on twitch.tv/the difference or /the _difference. I'll put it right here, right there somewhere. And you can chat live with me while I'm doing this, or while I'm live playing games as well. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Also, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon. That way you know when I'm uploading videos. Subscribing shows the support, the emotional support that we're talking about. So if you want to show some emotional support the channel, hit the little subscribe button. Yeah, thanks again for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Appreciate it.